Entitled Mom Demands I Give Her My Driveway. This just happened. I was having a great morning with my wife and kids when my neighbor texted me. We have never spoken in the 6 to 7 years that we have lived here, and she has always given me and my family dirty looks. This never bothered me, but it always bothered my wife. We never knew why she did this, but today we found out. Side note. Her husband seems like a decent guy who just acts like he is defeated by his wife. The few times that I have spoken to him, the conversation has always gotten cut short because his wife needed him for something. My house has a very long driveway. The driveway leads up a hill to my house at the top. The bottom quarter of the driveway is shared by my 2 neighbors. They have to drive up it to get into their garages. My side yard overlooks one neighbor's backyard while my backyard overlooks the other's backyard. My pool is in my backyard. I am posting the text conversation that just took place. Basically, she wants me to give her my driveway so she can build an in-ground pool for her kids. Her kids are a nightmare and she has never controlled them. She just lets them run around and do whatever they want all day. I still don't fully understand why she needs the rights to my driveway to do that, but she did not like being told no. If I'm being honest, I did get angry and a little immature during the conversation, but I felt it was warranted for the situation. She thought that threatening and making racist comments about my kids would be the best way to get me to do what she wants. My kids are half Korean, half European. Update: thanks so much for the awards, guys. So I went out with my family earlier today. When we got home, she had blocked off our driveway with traffic cones. I moved them over to block her garage and texted her to let her know. Here's the conversation. https://imager.com/a/skabert. I told my other neighbor about what happened and he said that he heard about her sneaking around on her husband. I was angry, got a little petty and brought it up. I'm still waiting for a response. Update 2: so she never responded to my last text, but she called me a few times today. I was at work so I didn't answer. She left me such a lovely voicemail, lol. I had to trim it, but my name is still in there and I don't feel like re-trimming and re-uploading. It's been a long day. https://soundcloud.com/user-592073908/Karen-voicemail-trim. She says that she is going to build her pool with or without my signature and that I should sign LMAO. In the end she says to do the right thing, and calls me a bitch, but I wasn't sure how appropriate that is for SoundCloud, so I edited it out. You guys all have some great advice about how to handle this situation, but I haven't decided what to do yet. I don't want to escalate too much because my family has to live right near her. I also feel like I can't do nothing because it will only get worse. I will let you guys know once I decide how to handle this. What the actual F, man? Going to take your driveway in your house? Where do people get this sense of entitlement? I would get the property lines marked and build a brick wall. Make sure to have a mural of a pool painted on the outside so she can see what it would have looked like. And make sure to build that brick wall down your driveway so she now has to figure out where she's going to park to get to her house. And put a gate at the end with a password. But give the nice neighbors the password so they can still use it LMAO. If it's your home and driveway, you should have a copy of the deeds of ownership, which will be pinned down to the nearest millimeter. If you are willing allowing a couple of neighbors use a part of your driveway to access their property, that's entirely your choice. Entitled neighbor has no claim, legal or otherwise, to your driveway. I suggest that you get a home security camera outside of your house, so that you can record everything shady that she tries to do to take, steal, your property. If she wants to call the police, let her, as she will only end up humiliating herself, if she does. You could call the police non-emergency line, and tell them what's happening and seek advice. They might make a formal report on her, whilst not going hard on her, yet. You could ask for a restraining order, or non-molestation, anti-harassment order too. Then, if she comes up on your driveway, spewing insults, she will have broken the orders, and will be arrested. You could also report her for racism towards your children, which is considered as a hate crime. This is the obvious reason that you have been ignored for years, and the reason she gave you, your wife, and kids dirty looks when you were outside with your family. She clearly has a problem with your house containing a Korean adult, and 2 half Korean, half white, because she is a racist. Make sure that you are 100% sure of where your boundary lines are, and keep your deeds handy. Then, set up the security camera. sit inside with a beer and a bucket of popcorn, and just laugh at her crazy shit. Record everything. But otherwise, just ignore her and go out of your way to ignore her existence. If she runs towards you, coolly turn around and walk away, without saying a word. Pretend that you didn't even see her. This is the perfect answer. A friend of mine wanted to fence in their backyard with a privacy fence. The neighbor behind them was balking about the fence, saying it was coming into their property by a foot or two and they didn't want to fence in their property. This would have been on their small side yard and some of their backyard. No negotiations were possible and it turned into a war of the wives. My friend said fuck it and paid for a new survey of the property lines. Holy shit. Not only was the neighbor wrong, she was horribly wrong. My friend's property line came within a couple of feet of the side of her house. They initially thought it was 6 foot and the neighbors wanted 10 feet. It was actually like 2 feet or something. The line was also on some weird angle that cut into the neighbor's backyard badly. It was so fucked up. The neighbors freaked out, of course. They paid for another survey which agreed with the other one. My friend built the fence going back as far as she could but, as a courtesy, didn't cut that angle sharply into their backyard. There was barely room to walk between the neighbor's house and their fence. They sold really soon afterwards. The bitch of it is had they just been cool and not pushed 10 feet more, no one would have ever known. Anyone who's talking about easements really needs to read the Imager thread. This woman isn't asking for an easement. She is asking OP to sign over his driveway, without compensation, so she can build an in-ground pool right in the middle of it. Her solution to the parking situation? Park at the bottom of the hill and walk up. Essentially, she wants to landlock OP, which isn't legal, because he has a pool with a waterfall and her precious children have no pool. And if he refuses to sign, which he is, she is threatening to take him to court and sue him out of his house. Oh yeah. She steals his Amazon packages too. My advice is to show the thread to her husband. That was my thought. Go tell him to holster his bitch of a wife because she's about to get hit with a massive lawsuit that will cost them everything. Including the half he owns. Not to mention her needs to stop by the bank for cash to bail her out if the cops come. She crazy enough to seriously Karen out on them and get arrested. Given she thinks they don't need their driveway and should just walk from the street, it sounds like they intend to permanently deprive OP of the driveway. I doubt that's even legal. What would happen in an emergency if a fire truck or ambulance was required? What if they need to do construction or decide to move out? They should just carry all the furniture to the street, and the new owners should carry theirs up the hill. That's not going to happen. Yes. You, that guy's YZG, she made death threats against you and your family. You need to start a paper trail with the police now. You have proof with text messages. That's enough for something like a RO or protection order for her to legally keep away from you and your family. Also, she admitted to a felony by saying anything delivered to her, even not her address, is still hers. Not so. Here's the thing. If she was so quick to go nuclear and write out death threats, she's going to escalate. This means she'll become physical or destructive to your property or your kids if they're playing outside. This isn't to be brushed off. You don't know if she has a firearm or not. You don't know if she might use her car to do damage to you or a kid playing in the yard. Get the police involved now before it gets worse, because it will. People like her go crazy when they don't get their way. You're not dealing with a logical person. And put out some security cameras. You need them if she continues stealing your packages or decides to vandalize your house. Or vandalize your driveway. If you have pets, make sure they don't eat anything put outside. Plenty of people have shared how a crazy neighbor will put rat poison in dog, cat treats in order to get back at someone by killing their family pet. Of course, find a way of telling your kids in a way they understand that they need to stay away from and not accept anything from your crazy neighbor. Holy wow, this is pure gold. So much to unpack here. I don't care who TF she thinks her husband is. I wouldn't be giving up my driveway so I could park on the street and walk uphill to my house. Nope, not gonna happen. I think I'd be just exactly petty enough to buy remote control cars for the simple purpose of racing them in my own driveway anytime this Karen, and it doesn't matter what her name is, she's most definitely full score a Karen, or her bratty kids are anywhere within sight. Followed by pool parties every weekend in my own pool. Print out these texts and put it on everyone's doors and in everyone's mailboxes. Neighbors need to know they live next to a psycho that will demand rights to their property.